Hello and welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with friends to get your game goodness each and every Monday. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey guys, excited to have you back so we can talk about all the important stuff in gaming this week.
Damn right. Also here, Kieran Marchant.
Guys, shit actually happening in game. Stuff's happening.
I've
Things
got
to
two
talk
new
about.
stories.
Oh.
We got game to talk about, you know?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So this week on the show, GTA 6 has a release date. Silksong will be playable in September. But the main thing we're talking about this week, to be completely honest, another thing we're really here to talk about, as teased last week, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Came out last week. Me and Kieran were in Melbourne. All he wanted to do was go home and play it.
Play it, 100%.
Yeah, talked about that the whole weekend. Several times the game came up as we was like, it came out nearly once every day, I feel, especially as we kept we'd see a news story and it was like the game's selling really well. And then Kieran would go on a rant again about how the game's good. So let's start with you, Kieran. You had already put in a few hours at that time and then hopefully more since. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, dumb title. Try and explain the game. How far are you? And thoughts.
I am, I don't know how many hours, I didn't look, but I'm at the end of Act 1. Game's a fucking masterpiece. Game is so good. So beautifully melancholy. There's the amount of there's people literally it's been my thing this week of people who are semi into games, and one of my best friends was like, hey, you don't have the time to play this, but I want you to sit down and watch the opening. Go find somebody who either is just uploaded the opening or go watch that, because that shit's just the best way to introduce a brand new IP and setting. And
do you mean the actual opening cutscene or
the prologue?
The boat crashes
up until just before the boat crashes.
Okay,
yeah. Oh no, probably a bit before that, up until the end of the Gamage.
Yeah, up until old mate starts killing people is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, kind of. Except for just don't worry about the expeditioner's party or whatever that bit is.
Yeah.
Because I think it is. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. The storytelling is wonderful. I'm loving the characters. I'm really appreciating and loving the score and the musical choices around it. The design and the art design in general is fucking magnificent. I have very little bad things to say about this game. I think this game, and even more so with the new story we'll talk about a little later, I think this is kind of the leader for Game of the Year so far.
Yeah, I think that seems to be the going
consensus.
Oh, Kingdom Come is the
Kingdom Come is the other one, but I think this is...
I think I mentioned to you before recording something last week, it's currently the leader on OpenCritic with 92 over Split Fiction and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah. What sort of game is this, Karen?
It is, and this frustrates me because I keep seeing people refer to it as a JRPG, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Because it's not
Are
Japanese.
you fucking stupid? It's not Japanese. No, it is a turn-based Western RPG, made by a
not really turn-based. I guess it is technically turn-based, but not in the traditional sense of turn-based. You know what I mean?
It's
what?
I guess it's interactively
active
turn-based.
It's turn-based, but there's just interactives. There's just interactive elements to each turn.
I mean, you could ignore all that and never block. I'm sure on easy mode.
It's true.
Yeah. It is, turn-based, Western RPG that, does, takes a lot of learnings from a lot of different, not just turn-based RPGs. I think there's a lot of learning from games like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, where it implements the parry system and dodges and that need to be actively avoiding damage. It is, it's in many ways, it's over the top in terms of its systems of the Lumina system, where you have to kind of point buying different abilities to make sure that each character has different perks unlocked at the same time as equipping them and learning them. And then, of course, your weapons and your kind of weapon scores and weapon upgrading. It's does what it says on the tin.
Yeah, I've been very much enjoying it. I have no idea how close to I'm still in Act 1. I'm just on my way to get the big blob thing that lets you travel around.
Eskier. Eskier?
Yeah, something like
Eskier.
that. I'm in his territory.
So you're a little bit. There's one more section after his section.
Yeah,
and then you're at the end of the act.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's just super. You can tell like all of its influences. Like obviously JRPG influences, old and modern. Like there's classical sort of stuff here. I think the most classical sort of stuff they've left in this game is the overworld map travel, which is reminiscent of the original like sort of Final Fantasy games. Those older JRPGs. But then you have like obviously a lot more modern JRPG influence when you've got like the very Persona-esque menus and flashy stuff that's playing out there. Really enjoying the characters and just the story so far. I think that the world is super interesting. This world where this person turned up, the paintress, 100 years ago or more than 100 years ago, I think, something like that. And then every year the number goes down and people that age die, just they turn to dust.
It was 67 years ago, I think, by the way.
Yeah, so then the world just starts, the numbers now ticking down. So the game starts with you as Gustav, the Charlie Cox voice character that looks like
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. Starts with him saying goodbye to his lover, basically, who's a year or two older than him. And, just get this sort of melancholy, Kieran's word before, do it where people, they've accepted they're dying. So it's not like it's everyone like crying and whatever else. They just all sort of, everyone that's going to die just sort of gathers together on this area. The gommage, they call it, I think. The paintress wakes up, they repaint the number, and then just everyone turns to dust like Thanos snapped his fingers, sort of. Yep. And then, on to the next expedition, which Gustav's leading into the next one. It's it's a super interesting world and stuff so far, and I'm just very intrigued. There's it's weird, like all the cross between our world and this fantasy world, because like where the main city is, where everyone grows up, and that's it. They live there. That's not like you travel outside that, you're on the expedition. You can see this like fucked up version of the Eiffel Tower in the background and whatever the hell's going on there. Very French. This game is
incredibly French.
I appreciate how much the developers are like, we're not going to try and placate this to Western audiences or whatever. They're like, we're a French studio and our game's going to be super fucking French.
I saw somewhere that the French president was posting on social media about the game.
French president's it's very active because I saw him also tweet out about the Counter-Strike event and the team that won it last week.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's down with it.
He's down with the
down
games.
with the video games.
Down with the video games.
There's some like really weird. You can come across, like, I couldn't beat them because it's hard, but there's like a mini boss, a secret boss.
The
or
mimes.
Some shit. The fucking mimes that you can like come
into.
You
didn't what? It's not hard. What?
I didn't beat it at the time.
Wow,
I only had one go and I'm like, I don't know, this feels like it's too strong for me now, so I left it. There's like.
Do you mean the one in the prologue that you'll never be able to go back to?
No.
Oh, okay. Did you kill the one in the prologue?
Yeah. There's a different one I found exploring.
That'd be good at counters, man.
Yeah, well, that's it. I guess the other thing I found very interesting, we're going to talk about counters in the gameplay. Turn-based, you have every character, and so far where I'm up at, I have 3 characters. Every character, when they're introduced, they have different ways that they work, like their class system, although they don't call it that, and there's no like word of class. It's just like how they fight. And I appreciate that. And it's not like over complicated or anything. It's not like you'll ever really forget how they all work or whatever. And there's some stuff here that's relatively simple and easy to wrap your heads around. And again, sort of like very throwback to typical JRPG stuff. It's like you can equip 3 equipment, whatever. I can't remember what they officially call them, but
3 pictos.
Pictos, yeah. You can clip 3 pictos. You spend 5 battles, win 5 battles. You'll like learn the permanent ability, which you can then equip using that any characters, whatever points and
Lumina.
like Lumina, all that stuff. It's like cool. That makes sense. That's a very like again Final Fantasy sort of system. Easy, makes sense. And then when you actually get into the battles, and as flashy as all the menus are, you very quickly learn that if you ain't learning the block or dodge, you're just going to get shat on horribly. So how do we feel about that? Like the more like, because honestly, RPGs, whatever, turn-based RPGs of the past, very like relax on the couch. You can, you don't need to be
strategize, think it move through.
Yeah, this is like, you better be fucking ready to dodge, block,
I think I found it funny that because dodging is easier than parrying.
Yes, but I'm committed to parrying. Fuck that.
But parry has the bonus effect of like
you get the counter.
Yeah. You do so much damage.
But so I have adopted, and it gives you this as a tooltip when you're loading. I've been dodging first, so I'll dodge first and learn how to make sure I'm perfect dodges, and then I'll transition that into doing counters. Also, on some attacks that are multi-attacks, if you can dodge everything and then parry the last one, you get the counter attack. So as long as you don't need to parry absolutely everything. There's also some moves where you have to learn to do like a jump up in the air, and you like to jump over it.
I find
they're really easy.
Yeah.
And then there's moves that attack the whole party, you can't parry that shit. You just have to dodge it. Some of them you can actually. You can do them. I think there's just some that I suck at.
It says the expedition.
The expedition counterattacks or something. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's I love it. I've definitely been caught out a couple times where I've like reached for my phone to look at something like, oh fuck, this is my normal RPG. I need to fucking concentrate and very much lock in and move to the edge of the couch and sit down properly and actually lock in to do. There's some like I've just done the boss fight at the end of Act 1 where it's like I was properly having to lock in, and it took me a number of attempts to make sure I was doing it. And it's very interesting. That fight is the first one. It's very important to manage your character's health bars and manage what you're using each character for and how you're using their turns. The one minor gripe I actually do have is because you're only using 3 characters at a time for combat. There is definitely one character that I have benched like permanently. That I'm like, I'm not learning you. I at the moment don't need to learn you. She pops up at the end where I'm like, if you die, you get to like rotate them in to be like to get you a second chance. And I get to her and I'm like, I'm using you to learn how to parry and to learn how to dodge for my next proper attempt. Which I think is maybe a little bit of a downside because it's like I don't feel as connected to that character or as like appreciative of that character. I still like that character and everything they've done with them so far. But yeah, I wish, I do kind of wish that maybe there was 4 people in the roster at the time. But yeah, that's a very minor gripe.
Ash, how much are you playing?
I'd say like 4 to 6 hours, maybe. Like I'm just got mail in the manor and I'm heading to whatever village that they're sending to me.
Yeah, the weird, funny people.
The Gestrels.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm honestly, it's very unlike anything else you've played, but also very much like a lot of stuff you've played. Like aesthetically, it's like very different to anything else. Like maybe outside of, what are those rat games? The Plague Tale?
Plague Tale? Yeah.
The one where there's a bunch of rats.
Yeah, they're Plague Tale, yeah.
Plague Tale.
Plague Tale, yeah. Like, obviously, it's got that kind of aesthetic, but that's also very French.
Oh, you just mean like the very, like, you're just like, say, I guess the European setting.
Yeah, the European setting is very rare.
For video games, yeah.
Yeah, or at least, yeah, I mean, this type. And then obviously it is also got a fantastical element to it. You've got very bizarre creature designs of the Nevums. The creatures.
Yeah. Nevrums.
Yeah, which, it seems to be we'll be learning some sort of story about the good ones and the bad ones and that kind of stuff. My main frustration is there's no freaking map. So I've heard there's a lot of issues like with exploration, and like I can see something that I feel like I'll need to come back to, but I get the impression that I'll never be able to find this spot ever again because there's no way
literally been
to
like
find it.
There's a boss in like the very first section that is like very clearly I need to come back and do this, that I keep thinking about and been like, I have no clue where the fuck they are again.
Is that the giant fucking thing?
Yeah. There's the one in like the very first area that's like green version of like the other guys. I can't remember. It's like a green version of the normal ones.
I found
there is the giant things, and those things I'm like, I'm nowhere near ready to fight.
Yeah, I beat one.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Yeah. I got my ass handed this to prove how the counter system, how good it is. So I go fight that thing once. I have like a 15-20 minute battle, very drawn out, lots of healing, backwards and forwards, get really close to beating it, like down to like that much, and it fucking wipes out my whole team in one shot. And I got so annoyed. I'm like, fucking bullshit. And then I'm like, no, I'm having another go. It was so close. And I go back in, and I just so happen to like perfectly counter every single its first few attacks, do absolutely a shit ton of damage to it, and just kill it in like 5 minutes. Got a bunch of it gave me like 6 drops off that one thing.
Even stuff like just making sure that learning counters, learning dodges, it's very rewarding.
It eats your team too. It's fucking trash.
Also, understanding how your different team members work with each other. Mael is a fucking badass when it comes to DPS. So like my whole setup is like I'm just setting her up to get her as quick as possible to be able to do her big damage moves, which do like 10k damage already.
Well, one thing I've worked out, team moves are really good. So like Gustav has a move that can like mark an enemy.
Yes.
And then I can't remember the character's names, but then she'll have a move that's like if attacking a marked enemy does like a shit ton of does a shit ton of damage. I'm like, okay, well that's a combo. Done.
Yeah, so no, literally Gustav very quickly was like, hey mate, sorry, you're a support, you do all the extra setup and shit. I use your AP points to shoot at things, to apply mark and burn to things. You're my person if I need to throw health potions on anybody. You don't get to attack too much. The other two, Loon and Mael, they're my attackers. You're just a chill. You just get to make sure they're okay and keep them alive.
Unless you dodge a lot and then you can use the overcharge.
Yeah, but even then, I'm like, that's a waste of time. I'd rather
overcharge does a shit ton of damage.
It does a shit ton, but like it doesn't do Mael damage, you know. I'd rather like chuck an extra 5 AP points onto Mael. And which is actually crazy thing about this game is like all of the usable items are restored when you rest. So like your health potions, your AP tints, and your revive tints. So it's like really rewarding, and like it wants you to use them.
It also wants you to explore, to Ash's point, and then find stuff that you can't find. But if you find that stuff, and then you can use that to upgrade them out of those potions they have back with the dude in your camp when you unlock him.
Yeah. The curator.
Curator, yeah.
He's very cool.
Creepy.
No, the end of Act 1, insane. Very good. It's one of those games that I'm like, I would fucking I just want to finish it so I can listen to spoiler casts and listen to people talk about the game in full, because there are just moments and aspects of this game that are so fucking insane and off the left-hand side. I will say as a general warning, because I did minor spoil myself, if you're looking for any guides or any kind of
your first problem
tips, it's not a guide. It was just I was looking for tips on best ways to build characters. Just be very careful when you're looking at those, because there are aspects of certain characters that will spoil shit for you very easily. So just be careful of that.
You gotta keep playing Ash?
Yeah, I think I'll keep dabbling. Maybe a few hour sessions every week or something like that. Power through. I gave up. I'm notoriously bad at parrying or dodging, so I just switched down to story mode, and it is very apparent what they've done. They've just cut damage.
Did you know? I've actually heard. So Jennifer English, voice of Mael and Shadowheart in
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3. I was actually watching her stream the game, and apparently she's the reason that story mode exists, because she went to the devs and was like, "Hey, I really want to play this game when it comes out, but I fucking suck at video games. Can you please make sure there is a mode that allows me to play it?" And apparently internally, and like Ben Starr calls it all the time, is that mode's known as the Jennifer English Memorial Game Mode. Yeah. So yeah,
Cool.
very cool.
So you can just switch it down and up when you want, Ash, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I definitely want to beat the game too, and I at this point I don't feel like I'm struggling, but I'm going to be honest, like because it's so many fucking.
It's just time consuming.
If I hit a boss that's just kicking my ass, I'm just going to switch down and switch back up. Like, I'm fully going to say that now. I don't give a shit. I'll be honest. When I'm not like, I got a Steam code for this. If I'm not trying to get trophies or some shit, especially if I'm just trying to play a game, I will want to try and play it properly. But games that let you know how some games, I'm glad not many do that these days. It's like once you've selected the difficulty, you can't change it back. Sometimes I'm glad. You know what? Fuck this boss. Down. I beat the boss. Yeah. Back up. Now I can pretend I was playing properly.
Even as I will say, minor thing, and I think this is where the biggest ripple for the game industry I think comes from. In light of, other developers and other publishers bringing out games at the, $110 price point, this game
or something like that?
is $70 on digital stores. $70 on digital stores, made by a dev team of 30 people.
And it's on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Next to Oblivion.
Next to Oblivion, exactly. It's still sold 1 million copies.
Which apparently the devs have said helped the sales.
Yep.
Which doesn't make any sense to me.
Why is this game doing so well?
I think it's because it's finally something new. It's something new.
Something unique.
We do see new things come out and they just fall through the cracks though. There's something about this.
I think it might be a combination of the Xbox Game Pass effect. It might be people are. I think the opening fucking helps. When you have an opening that is that impactful that you could just sit anybody down and play it for them, and they're probably going to connect with it and enjoy it. It helps a lot. I think when we're getting to a point in the gaming industry where we're coming up to a lot of remasters, a lot of remakes, a lot of people going back to nostalgia and relying on old themes and old IPs and things. So I think when new IPs, and we've seen it already this year with Split Fiction and with this, new IPs that are made with love and care and given teams that are given time to make them and to enjoy them are coming out and succeeding. They're not being ignored, they're being given the opportunity. I do think, once again, much like Baldur's Gate, I would put this in the same category as Baldur's Gate, where it's like, this isn't something that everybody's going to be able to achieve, but it is something that developers need to learn from and developers need to aspire to be like. If this team is comfortable with releasing on Game Pass, selling their game at a cost-effective price, and working within, and giving themselves the time with a dev team of 30 people, what these massive developers with fucking thousands of people and huge budgets should be able to do.
Double A again that we've sort of lost. It's double A with a bit of triple A marketing, I think, is the.
But this isn't even double A.
I feel like that's the key. The marketing was so good for this game. Like right from when it was introduced at one of the game showcases.
It was Xbox.
It was something that everybody paid attention to and like kind of noted as something they wanted to keep track of.
That last Xbox one, I can't remember if it was the summer one or probably later in the year at Gamescom or something. I think it was the one at Gamescom they did. It was the one where Xbox like went for all the studios and like the camera would like go to their city and they showed their studio and it was like that really like wild building where you didn't look like a game studio at all. Like every other game studio is like white building, fucking like typical desk. Yeah, and they're like the room they're working in just has like this fucking thick ass oak table or whatever. And I think we remember talking on the podcast about it and like being like, how wild was that as a game studio? Yeah. So here we are. They made this. Yeah, very, very, very good. Very enjoying it. Looking forward to playing more for sure. All right, 2 quick news stories this week. Firstly, GTA 6. So, GTA Rockstar Games tweeted out, posted on socials, Grand Theft Auto 6 is now set to release May 26, 2026. We are very sorry that this... Oh, God, what's happening here? We're very sorry that this is later than you expected. The interest and excitement surrounding a new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. We want to thank you for your support and patience as we work to finish the game. With every new game we've released, the goal has always been to try and exceed your expectations, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time to deliver the level of quality you expect and deserve. We look forward to sharing more information with you soon. Sincerely, Rockstar Games. I read, when this news story happened, I said, cool. There's enough shit happening this year. Who cares? Now, I've seen apparently people screaming that this is the end of the world. The people are like, no, there's no games coming this year. To them, I say, go back about 20 minutes and listen to us talk about a great game we just spent 26 minutes talking about or whatever. How'd everyone else, how do you two react to this?
Mentally, I had already put GTA 6 into 2026, maybe a couple months ago. And even to the point where this came out, and I was like, "Oh, it wasn't already in 2026. We were still thinking it was going to be 2025." No, I always had my doubts of it being released. I think every big title, if we go back to Cyberpunk, is all getting delayed from its initial release date as developers feel the pressure and feel the expectations of the game and decide that they probably need a bit longer to make sure it's polished, to make sure it's prepared. I think it's wild to think that people are complaining. I think, to be honest, I'm like, fuck yeah, excellent. People, there is more room for games. There's more room for, that was almost my thing. I was almost gutted the other day thinking when I was playing Clair Expedition 33. I was like, man, this game's fucking amazing, but it had to come out in the same year as GTA 6, and it has to come out in a year where it probably isn't going to get the recognition it deserves because GTA 6 probably just got Game of the Year unlocked. And now that doesn't happen. We get, this gets free reign. And then, Expedition 33 gets free airspace, Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding 2. Like, it's there's so many games now in this year that, we already had Split Fiction. There's so many games that we have that...
And we get Duck Detective, the Ghost of the Glampling.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Key.
I'm genuinely excited. I don't know why I could just... First one was great.
But yeah, I think it's a good thing. I don't think I can see any negatives about this.
Yeah, I got no problem. Ash, do you care?
I mean, outside of I had it in the fantasy game that we're playing,
that, what, that was my other thought. I was instantly like, fuck yeah, fuck you, Ashley.
Which would have been a 10, like a 97.
Hold on, I'm glad you brought that for a quick second. There were several times Kieran was looking at the fantasy thing on his phone while we was at IAM, and at some point I turned around, I'm like, just so you know, Kieran says Ash has fucking got this shit. Like, he's like so far ahead. I'm like, look, I haven't even looked at it since then. I actually feel like, and I said to Kieran, I feel like Ash has sort of abused his power here because I've never done a fantasy draft in anything, sport or anything before. And he's just run with it and expected me to understand what the fuck I'm supposed to do. And Kieran's like, yeah, man, he's already like brought stuff and whatever. You can do all this sort of stuff, blah, blah, blah.
So I never said to you anything. So I never said to you anything because I actually bought a bunch of games last week because I was like,
I saw you on your phone. I saw you on your phone, like scrolling through for like 10, 15 minutes at some stage there next to me on it. I was like, he's doing something. Again, I feel like you are abusing my inability to understand what I just said what it's called now. I forgot.
Fantasy critic.
Thank you. Yep.
Well, I'm sure we'll go like into we'll go over it at some future episode. But I will say right now, Dylan's actually winning.
Yeah, because of the GTA 6,
and is
right?
projected to win.
Yeah, it's like
eat shit because you were fucking so high-minded the other week. Oh, I'm predicted to win. There's no fucking chance. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, well, fuck you. And then Kieran the other day, oh, how are you feeling about that Pokemon fucking, how are you feeling about the Let's Go 2? Like he's throwing out at me as I'm trying to brush my fucking teeth in the morning.
Still a long year to go, but yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people are upset just because Grand Theft Auto it's been so long and people have been waiting and there's been so little news, so little information. But, what's another year at this point?
I think that the best thing about the positive I took from the news story is just the straight up, hey, we've actually got a solid release date, month, everything now. So every other game can go.
I mean, it was interesting because obviously I said to you, oh, like, do you believe that Borderlands was moved forward this week?
Definitely
because
wasn't.
GTA. Well, maybe it was, and then they've decided
because it wasn't matter like that.
Did you see Randy Pitchford did another classic tweet of being like, no, our game is great. We weren't moving because of anybody. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you pulled a USB out of a handkerchief. Good old Randy. All right, final news story for this week. Eurogamer writes, it's been 6 long years since Hollow Knight sequel Silksong was confirmed to be in development, and fans, starved of much in the way news, have managed to reach such a frenzy of anticipation in time. It's a wonder the whole thing didn't end up in mass spontaneous combustion. Some of the pressure was thankfully released last month when developer Team Cherry finally confirmed the 2025 launch window, but an exact release date remains elusive. What we do know, however, is Silksong is set to be playable at an Australian museum this September, suggesting it'll either release before, after, or during that time. So at Acme, as a heads up for everyone, this is a PSA story, I guess, especially for us, because in Australia, we can actually check this out. Apart from everyone else in the comments section on IGN, I saw complaining that it's unfair. Oh, sucks to be you. So they're doing Acme presents Game Worlds. Just I'll quickly read the page here. So it's running from Thursday, 18th of September to Sunday, 8th of February, 2026. It says, video games, we love them. Build them, live in them, and play them. These imagined worlds are real and they're coming to Acme. Our major new playable exhibition premieres this September. Game Worlds transports you inside the levels of 30 unforgettable video games, from blockbusters like World of Warcraft to pioneer of life simulation genre The Sims, Neopets, and highly anticipated Australian title Hollow Knight Silksong, plus more to be announced. Play some of the world's favorite games in ways you've never been able to before with exclusive custom builds. Explore original design materials, concept art, and iconic objects from across genres, including indie games and AAA masterpieces. Told through the lens of iconic video games, Games Worlds charts technical and design innovation to uncover what makes these virtual worlds feel alive. It celebrates the communities and friendships that flourish within these digital landscapes. Game Worlds shows how games evolve through player interaction and the unique partnership between designs and players. So that's exciting. In general, something like that, even without the Silksong, I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to check that out. But obviously, the Silksong news has made this now a global shout out to this Acme presentation that's coming in September, which I thought was quite funny. So, yeah. Now, based on this, I guess here's the one thing before we wrap up today. 18th September, you'll be able to play Silksong in Melbourne at this thing. When is Silksong releasing?
Before.
Pick a month. Before? How long before?
I don't think it's before, right? I think it's
start of September.
Okay.
Done.
I think you would think it'd be later, right? And that Acme has just got special access to it.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm going late October.
So we can go to PAX, get a taste of Hollow Knight Silksong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then before the rest of the world gets to play it.
Well, it says join the wait list on the website here, which
I think that's just what they do for every single upcoming exhibit.
Yeah, okay. I'm wondering if it actually be booked or whatever. But yeah. So if I'm in Melbourne before PAX, I'm gonna go because during PAX this will be fucked.
Fucking packed. Yeah.
But yes,
I don't know. PAX might not be that full this year.
Oh yeah, because of WWE. Yeah.
Which has a massive.
I doubt. No, WWE isn't going to pull that many people.
Well, Ryan Betson's pulled out. You know what I mean?
And if Ryan Betson's not going to be at PAX, like, what's the point?
Who's even coming?
Who's even coming?
Like, yeah, no, it's no.
Yeah.
No,
if I can't see a Betson at PAX, what's a PAX without a Betson?
Do you reckon we can? we
you
can,
know what I'm saying? The classic saying.
We can apply for a panel where it's just we all watch WWE on one of the giant screens in the convention rooms.
Yeah. How Vince McMahon fucked the WWE and now how Paul Levis has fucked us. Like, I don't know.
TK more like TK no.
Yeah. A panel.
Yeah.
By explosionnetwork.com. Done. Pitched. Easy. Mark it off. All right. That'll do it for this week's episode of Arcade Couch. Of course, let us know your thoughts on Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Dumb title. Not good for your SEO. I don't know.
Why isn't it just Expedition 33?
I don't know. I had to look
do you
Clair
understand the Clair Obscur?
Yeah, I didn't look it up. It basically means like I don't know, it's like the cross between colors. So I guess it's like
okay.
It's a French word or whatever that basically means that
you could just stop there. It's French.
Yeah, it's a French word that I think basically means. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
It's
Google
French.
it. It's a French word, but it's like technically it would mean the game's called like what? The Grey Zone Expedition 33. I fucking don't know. Like it's a crossover between Chris Evans and that thing. Thank you very much for joining us on this week's episode of the podcast. Of course, check out explosionnetwork.com for all the great things happening over there, and whatever else, all the podcasts and things. Let us know your thoughts on anything which was discussed this week on the show. You can follow us on Bisky at explosionnetwork.com over there, and our TikTok Explosion Network and Instagram at Explosion Pod. Until next week, have a great time. Play good video games. Fuck Peter Dutton. Goodbye.